Burnett. I'd like to welcome you all to our Travel Wednesday, our lunch club, where for the month of March, we'll be looking at celebrations and ourselves. Thank you so much for joining. We'll be looking at my East Coast travels today, from Southern roots to Northern skylines. So I hope you enjoy this travel journey together with me. So thanks so much again for joining, and hope you all learn a lot. So our roadmap for today, ooh, y'all excited looking at it? We'll be looking at Atlanta, where I was born, Alexandria, Virginia, DC, of course, Ocean City and Baltimore, Maryland, Pennsylvania, that's where I attended college, and last but certainly not least, New York City. And of course, talking about some city comparisons and just some life lessons from the past and the future. So y'all excited? What y'all excited to learn more about? What any of y'all visiting these places? Of course, we're all in DC. What are y'all thoughts?
Did you say you were born in Georgia?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. How
That's
long
where we
did you
start.
live there?
Where in Georgia?
Marietta.
Oh,
You
okay.
were not too far from where I was born.
Well, we probably was siblings in a past life.
Okay.
Yes, Atlanta. I can't wait to learn more about Atlanta. We'll be learning more about these places. Alexandria, Virginia, DC. I love Ocean City, Baltimore, Pennsylvania, New York City. So some kind of major cities. Any other thoughts? What are you all excited to learn more about? Where?
Georgia.
Georgia? Okay.
So
Yes.
on my mind. You just got Georgia on your mind.
Georgia.
My daughter lives in Atlanta.
Okay, well, yeah, some of you may have family members, friends from any of these places. So, yes, we'll be looking at some Georgia, Atlanta history. Any other places?
How about Baltimore? Where did you live in
Uh,
Baltimore?
oh no, well, I visited Baltimore.
Oh.
But I remember going, and I
Hmm.
loved where the aquarium was. So,
Oh,
uh,
yes.
yes, I visited the aquarium, that whole area right there. I
Hmm.
visited with my friends a couple times, so that was
Hmm.
so fun. So yes,
Didn't
we'll be
I
learning
didn't
more about Baltimore and Ocean City today.
I didn't like New York at all.
New York City,
Really?
oh my.
It
I
was
went
too much.
I went when I was young, and then when I was in my teens. So, oh my goodness, it was cold. Like I went during the winter. Oh my goodness, it was like cold here. Now it's really cold up there. So when it's cold here, I don't mind it too much. So yes, um, I hope y'all are excited. This isn't just about geography. This is about, growth and culture and, kind of how each place shaped who I am today. So from Southern Roots to Northern Skylines, every city brought something different into my life. So let's start off the birthplace of me, Atlanta, Georgia. Southern culture, hospitality, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born there. There's a ton of civil rights movement history in Atlanta, lots of music, food, business influence. And yeah, you have a lot of landmarks like the Georgia State Capitol, like global brands are there like Coca-Cola. The Beltline with the railroad tracks. Isn't that something? So look at the top right, that's me.
That you? Look at you.
Yes.
Wow.
So a little
Oh,
bit about
that's
me,
cute.
Oh, so
Oh,
cute.
Oh, that's cute.
let
Oh.
me see that. Oh,
Oh,
that
So
is
that's
so
me.
precious.
cute. What?
I know that I can't believe that I became into that.
Yeah.
And he's
Oh,
still
thank
just a
you for
baby.
sharing that.
Uh-huh.
He's
So
still
yeah,
just a baby.
Yes, the baby. Mm-hmm.
Atlanta taught, I remember my roots and how some of the things, as a child will, just be whatever happens in your childhood doesn't mean, you can't be great or, whatever happens doesn't mean your future is compromised.
There
You
you
could make
go.
you can make anything out of nothing. So
Amen.
Alex,
But,
did you have
Yeah, that's really
siblings?
cute.
It's all about what you think.
just me, but you know, you really learn, you know, the world and at preschool, I just remember, doing flashcards and just being able to do different things and how, moving up in school, like how those things really helped me. So it
Every
was
child has a chance.
Mm.
I loved it. So let's look at some how Atlanta became the Black Mecca. A-Town, Hotlanta, whatever they call it. Y'all heard of those terms, right? But really, Black Atlanta and Black culture really go hand in hand, don't you think?
ATL.
Atlanta.
hmm Yes. Y'all excited to learn more about Atlanta?
Come on.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah. But I hope you heard me, Yvonne. It was just me. So,
Oh,
navigating
yeah.
life on my own. Well, it's been a journey. So, yes. But, I have lots of friends and, semi-pseudo siblings, brothers and sisters. So you make your family what you want it to be.
Yes. Are your parents still living?
Again, it's just me right now. So,
Mhm.
I'm trying to make the best of, whatever situation anyone's in. So that's what we're all about. So just like we're, we had a lot of loss and a lot of gains in our life. So I'm glad we're here together, aren't we? Making something out of ourselves.
There you
Right.
go. There you
No
go.
matter if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, even 100. You're never too old to learn.
Go on and preach. Go on and preach then.
So let's take a look. Atlanta becoming the Black Mecca.
The year was 1995. The place, New York City. The Paramount Theater is filled with hip-hop fans attending the Source Awards.
Paramount
The
Theater,
air is
huh?
tense with the East Coast-West Coast rivalries that dominated 90s hip-hop. A new, unique group comes to the stage to accept the award for New Group of the Year. The group is Outkast, and they're booed by the East Coast-friendly crowd.
Do y'all remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that happening? I wasn't there physically or seeing it, but
And then 6 words were uttered by Andre 3000 that galvanized the Southern hip-hop scene for decades to come. Those words,
The South got something to say, that's all I got to say.
but
got something to say.
you guys like that Batman voice? But Andre 3000's words were not just about hip-hop. By 1995, the South, specifically Atlanta, the epicenter of the Black South, had already been saying a lot in the world of music and culture. And since then, Atlanta's contribution to Black culture has exploded. But how did this city in the woods become the Black Mecca? Atlanta, Georgia boasts a rich history interwoven with moments of triumph, struggle, and transformation. Founded in 1837 as a terminus for several railroad lines, and
Look at that. Look at those pictures of Georgia.
Whoa.
Yeah, look at that. Let me go back. Yes.
1837 as a
1837. So it'll be 200 years and 11 years
Mm.
of its existence.
terminus for several railroad lines, Atlanta quickly grew into a vital transportation hub. Originally called Marthasville, the city was renamed Atlanta in 1847.
Marthasville. Did you all know that Atlanta used to be called that?
No. No.
Marthasville. Me neither.
Reflecting its connections to the Western and Atlantic Railroad. During its early years, Atlanta's economy was tied to the agrarian South, heavily reliant on enslaved labor. Atlanta played a significant role in the Civil War as a Confederate stronghold and industrial center. The city was a critical supply hub, making it a target for Union forces. In 1864, General William Sherman's infamous March to the Sea culminated in the burning of Atlanta. General Sherman ordered the destruction of all railroads, factories, and commercial buildings that could be of use to the Confederacy. Although only commercial buildings were purposely targeted, some homes and churches were burned to the ground. 40% of Atlanta was left in ruins. But despite the
40%?
Dude, that's a lot.
It's a lot. Left in the room, almost half of Atlanta was destroyed. Goodness.
destruction, the city quickly rebuilt during Reconstruction, symbolizing resilience and progress. During this period, Atlanta's Black community began laying the groundwork for what would become a thriving cultural and economic presence. Newly emancipated Black residents established schools, churches, and businesses. Institutions like Clark College, later called Clark Atlanta University, and Morehouse College were founded, providing
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of the ruins came greatness.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Education and leadership training for the black community. In the late 19th and 20th centuries, Atlanta's black population faced significant
Look, Peachtree Streets, looking north from Viaduct, Great White Way, Atlanta, Georgia. Look at this. Look at this photo. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Look at all the cars and this made me think of DC's trans and how they used,
What's boogies?
goodness.
significant challenges, including segregation and racial violence. However, the city's leaders, such as Alonzo Herndon, founder of the Atlanta Life Insurance Company, and W.E.B. Du Bois, an intellectual and activist, worked tirelessly to build a strong economic and cultural base. Atlanta earned its moniker, the city too busy to hate, during the Civil Rights Movement. While this nickname glossed over the pervasive racial inequalities, it reflected a degree of progressivism compared to the other southern cities. The Civil Rights Movement found a powerful base in Atlanta, home to leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who, of course, was born and raised in the city. King's work with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, headquartered in Atlanta, helped solidify the city's role as a center for activism. The 1960s saw Atlanta at the forefront of the civil rights movement. Local institutions like the Atlanta Student Movement, led by students from the Atlanta University Center, AUC, staged sit-ins and protests to challenge segregation. Atlanta's mayor at the time, William B. Hartsfield, and his successor, Ivan Allen Jr., worked to position the city as a progressive southern hub, supporting desegregation efforts and promoting economic growth. Dr. King's legacy remains deeply embedded in Atlanta's identity. The King Center, established by Coretta Scott King, serves as a memorial to his life and work.
Remember we learned about the King Center or read some quotes from them and his sayings? Wow.
Ebenezer Baptist Church, where King preached, remains a symbol of the city's pivotal role in the fight for civil rights. Post-civil rights movement, Atlanta became a magnet for African Americans seeking economic opportunity and cultural connection. The city's black middle class grew substantially, bolstered by educational institutions like the ACU and thriving businesses. In 1973, Maynard Jackson became Atlanta's first black mayor, marking a turning point in the city's political landscape. Jackson's tenure focused on economic empowerment for the black community. He championed affirmative action policies and ensured the city's contracts were awarded to minority-owned businesses. His leadership helped establish Atlanta as a city where African Americans could thrive economically and politically. And that's not all. There's one more specific thing Mayor Jackson did that had huge consequences. Because he believed that all great cities produce great art, Mayor Jackson worked with then Governor of Georgia, Jimmy Carter, on providing grants for the arts. Of course, at the time, the big players of the art and culture scene were New York and LA. Atlanta started attracting talent, especially in music. The 70s and 80s saw the rise of the Atlanta music scene, with bands like the SOS Band. And
Do y'all know the SOS Band?
Yes, indeed.
Who are they? I don't, I'm learning something new.
They got some good stuff.
This says Diamonds in the Raw.
I met Maynard Jackson.
Oh.
He was invited to a function in Buffalo, and I was there, and I got a chance to meet him.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Maynard Jackson, he did so much. Jimmy Carter, look at that history. Who knew?
Music scene, with bands like the SOS Band. And where art thrives, culture and economics also thrive. In the 1990s, Atlanta solidified its reputation as a cultural powerhouse. The city hosted the 1996 Summer Olympics, showcasing its diversity and modernity on.
Did y'all remember that? 96 Summer Olympics in Atlanta?
Oh, yeah. Muhammad Ali lit the torch.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
Okay, I didn't know that the Olympics or Summer Olympics were ever in Atlanta.
On the global stage, black-owned businesses and entertainment companies like LaFace Records flourished.
But it's like this though. I'm tired of folks, you know what I'm saying? Them closed-minded folks, you know what I'm saying? It's like we got a demo tape and don't nobody want to hear it, but it's like this, the South got something to say. That's all I got to say.
Atlanta also became synonymous with the rise of Southern hip-hop. Artists like Outkast, Ludacris, and T.I. brought Southern hip-hop to the forefront, cementing the city's influence in the music industry. Countless stars have risen out of Atlanta. Some were born there, but others moved there in pursuit of artistic endeavors. Today, Atlanta remains a hub for entertainment, with thriving film and television industries earning it the name the Hollywood of the South. Atlanta is celebrated as a black mecca for the thriving economy, vibrant culture, and political influence. The city boasts.
Mm, mm. Any thoughts on that video? It was so interesting. You learned so much about Atlanta.
Mhm.
Yeah,
What did you all
my grandson went there to college.
mm-hmm.
I have family
My
there.
house.
Yeah.
What was the vibe? How did it feel? What did they say? Did they like it?
Yeah.
Mm. All those different history, those pieces. That was amazing.
My son was drafted with the Atlanta Braves in '96.
All right now.
Oh,
Mm.
my goodness.
That's how I got into baseball.
Oh,
You go, Brenda. You
amazing,
go,
Miss
girl.
Brenda. I appreciate you sharing that. I would share that with everybody.
I do.
I know that's right.
Oh, Miss Thompson.
Okay, so yes, Atlanta, Georgia. If you've never been, I urge you to go.
Yeah, I
See what's
love
going on. So yes, moving to Alexandria. I was in kindergarten when I moved to Alexandria, and it felt very different from Atlanta. It has, colonial charm, like cobblestone streets, historic buildings, and a beautiful waterfront. Old Town Alexandria uh, is full of preserved architecture that dates back centuries. There's a strong sense of American history there, especially with George Washington. Living near the nation's capital while being in a quieter historic city gave me balance. Peaceful, but close to power. Um, I remember being able to go in a playground area, but like a park area, and I would just walk through and look at caterpillars and eat the berries off the trees. And towards the end, there was like a CVS and a library. So I remember going to the library and taking out books and CDs and learning about computers. So it was quite fun. Anyone has lived or stayed in Alexandria before?
Where did you learn about computers, Alex?
Well, just even viewing it, I saw a computer. Um, I saw a computer, and I was, again, I had one, or since I was around 4, I remember having the chunky, big old computers.
Mm.
So I remember, back then, even in Atlanta, I was able to utilize some computers, but seeing like more modern ones or being exposed like to different games and different things that you can do. I remember I remember sitting down at the library and playing on that computer and just learning. So
No
just
wonder you're so good at computers. You just been in the computers just about all your life.
yeah, basically, I'll say that's the most experience I've had in anything is computers. So.
Wish I had exposure like that.
Yeah, I was very blessed to be able to, trial and error.
Right.
So I will say it all took I remember hundreds of mistakes and things just even from then and growing up. Yeah, so you just just keep going.
Cold out there.
Yeah,
You just got to keep swimming, right?
Yeah.
So yes, let's take a look at Alexandria, Virginia. Well, actually, let's take a look at Alexandria, DC. Yeah. If you know your history of the DMV area, you know why that is.
The name of my book is Hidden History of Alexandria, DC. And the last part of that title is very important because it's not about Alexandria, Virginia. It's about a period in history when the District of Columbia included parts of what's now Virginia.
Doesn't that sound crazy? Alexandria, DC. But yes, Alexandria was a part of DC.
What I wanted to do was look at this 50-year time period and get a sense of why Alexandria became part of the District of Columbia, what went wrong, and why it left. One of the things I really wanted to do with the book is give people a sense of what life was like in this time period. Firefighting, for example, worked very differently in this time period. Crime worked very differently. Slavery played a crucial role in the business world of this time period. Politics were very different. I did lots of research on the politics of this era. This was a Whig town in what was essentially a Democratic city.
A Whig town and what was essentially a Democratic city.
So I thought that was kind of interesting because today in the modern world, this is a Democratic town and what's essentially a Republican state. So, and from that sense, there's sort of a through line that you can look back to this time period and see there was a political division then that still exists today. When I was doing the research for the book, I found 3 places that I would really like to take you to give you a sense of what it was like to live in Alexandria, D.C.
So yes, Hidden History of Alexandria, D.C. See if it's at your local library. Michael Lee Pope.
One of them is Jones Point Park. This is where you will find the original boundary marker for the southernmost tip of the District of Columbia. The other is the dueling ground, where a very famous duel took place between Secretary of State Henry Clay and Virginia Senator John Randolph. The other place I was really interested in taking you is the infamous slave pen at the Franklin and Armfield slave dealers, which is where we're headed next.
Oh, wow. Franklin Armfield slave dealers. That sounds, I've never heard of that.
We're standing in one of the hidden gems of Old Town Alexandria. This is the infamous slave pen at the Franklin and
Franklin and Armfield slave office, 1315 Duke Street. Isaac Franklin and John Armfield leased this brick building with access to the wharves and docks in 1828 as a holding pen for enslaved people being shipped from Northern Virginia to Louisiana. They purchased the building in 3 lots in 1832. From this location, Armfield bought bondspeople at low prices and shipped them south to his partner Franklin in Natchez, Mississippi, and New Orleans, Louisiana, to be sold at higher prices. By the 1830s, they often sold 1,000 people annually, operating as one of the largest slave trading companies in the U.S. until 1836. And this continuously owned the property until 1861. Wow. Look at that. New Orleans, Mississippi. Look at that connection.
Armfield slave dealers. We're located right now in the basement of the Northern Virginia Urban League. This was, at one time, the most prosperous slave business in America. Franklin and Armfield would round up slaves from all points, Virginia, Maryland, even Delaware. And they would bring them here, process them, and then they had camps. There was a men's camp on one side of the campus and a women's camp on the other side of the campus. They weren't allowed to commingle with each other, and they were kept here until they could be sold in large quantities down south.
Oh, wow. That's... Jane, 30 years old, $378. That's something, isn't it? I mean, this happened right here in Alexandria. I mean, we're surrounded by history.
And so then they would be transported either via ship or sometimes marched on foot down to Mississippi and Louisiana. When the Union Army
Betsy and her children, oh my,
invaded Alexandria, one of the first places they came was here to this slave pen, because it was an infamous spot in slavery. It had been featured in all of the abolitionist newspapers of the time period. And so when the Union soldiers came here, they came down here to the basement where we're now standing and found slaves actually shackled to the wall. Slavery played a very important role in the history of the district, the early history of the District of Columbia. It also played a very important role in why Alexandria wanted to leave the District of Columbia. If you were to take a look at this 50-year time period that Alexandria was part of the District of Columbia, you would see that the business of slavery was the predominant business in Alexandria. It was where all the money was at. And so this slave trading operation that we're standing in right now was one of the most successful businesses in Alexandria. And it was so successful, as a matter of fact, that the threat posed by the potential outlawing of slavery in the District of Columbia was enough to push this movement forward for what they called retrocession. which
Mhm.
was Alexandria leaving the District of Columbia. So slavery
So that was the main reason.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to keep slavery for the money.
Mm.
Something.
Retrocession. Hmm.
played a very important role as the predominant business during this 50-year time period. It also played a key role in why Alexandria wanted to leave the District of Columbia. We're standing now at the dueling ground in North Arlington. This is a famous spot because this is where
Clay and Randolph duel. I haven't heard of this. Dueling in Virginia was illegal. Secretary of State Henry Clay challenged U.S. Senator John Randolph of Roanoke. Clay called Randolph out to defend his honor after Randolph insulted him in a speech on the Senate floor. Randolph confided to Senator Thomas Hart Benton of Missouri that he had no intention of hurting Clay, who was married and had a child. The duel took place on April 8th, 1826, a half mile north of Pimmitt Run. Both first shots missed their intended targets. Clay's second shot also missed. Roanoke raised his pistol and fired his pistol in the air. The duel then ended, and the unhurt adversaries met each other halfway and shook hands.
Mhm.
Isn't that kind of funny?
Wise guys, weren't they? Some
They
dudes
said,
that use the end death.
goodness, that's some history right there.
Yeah.
a duel happened between Secretary of State Henry Clay and Virginia Senator John Randolph. This is a little known
Look at
duel.
that.
I had actually never heard of this duel until I started researching the history for the book. But these are two titans of American politics. The modern day equivalent of this would be Secretary of State John Kerry versus Virginia Senator Mark Warner.
Mm.
Wow.
So they were that they were that high. They were
Handed weapons, they shot at each other, both sides missed. They were handed new weapons, they shot at each other and missed again. And then so they came
Missed
together,
again.
and so Randolph said to Clay, "You owe me a new coat, Mr. Clay," because the bullet had pierced his coat. And so Clay said to Randolph, "Well, I'm glad the debt is not greater." Well, right now we are at
I'm
Jones
sure there
Point.
could have been a dead man in that field.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Let's that was pretty funny.
1784, right at the suggested two possibilities. One was Trent, they would be in Trent, is a guy whose name has been kind of lost in that 1791. This was a friend of Washington's. He was
I'm just looking through them.
cello, and perhaps
I hope those two stories, but the slaves trader story, that is something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really makes you think
Oh boy.
how life is today, right? You know, that's the reason why Alexandria could have been a part of DC, but
Mm, mm, mm,
they wanted the money.
mm, mm,
That's
Mhm.
why West Virginia left Virginia. It was all one big state. And in 1863, West Virginia, the western part of Virginia, left Virginia because they didn't want slavery.
Yes.
And Virginia wanted slavery.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell it, Brenda. Tell it, Brenda.
That's why, West Virginia is West Virginia today. So that is yeah, that makes complete sense. And thank you for sharing. I love that. It just, we're all a part of history. Everyone's sharing that they lived there, they was here, they know about this. We're all global, so we always have to remember that. I hope you all enjoyed learning about Alexandria. We know DC, the nation's capital. History and politics are always present. The monuments and memorials, ain't nothing like living in the city and being able to go to those, especially, the Lincoln Memorial. Lou has told me stories of taking people there or seeing other people there and becoming really emotional. That just, with Lincoln and other figures and other museums and these, the World War II Memorial, all of those places are just so full of history and emotions and, people.
Yeah.
But yes.
But many a day I had to cross the Wilson Bridge to go to Alexandria. I was running this computer warehouse, which supplied the Patent and Trade Office on Duke Street. And sometimes the traffic between here and there was murderous. But
Yes. I remember traveling between
Mhm.
Virginia
It's all right.
and DC.
it's hard to do it on
It's
that.
that I-295, isn't it, Mr. Ronald?
Just go down 395 across the Wilson Bridge to,
Uh-huh.
to Duke Street, right
Yes.
past that plaque where they
Uh-huh.
had all the slaves. But just thinking about those times when those people were packed into the ships or packed into them crowded cells and
Right.
shackled
And
through
the
the
cells out with the
walls.
slave pens, like even just saying that, it just makes me want to throw up. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
sometimes I can close my eyes and I can feel what they felt. So
mhm.
all things don't go away.
Oh no.
Some
No, no.
things, some things are handed down, if only in spirit. But
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
always amazes me how people could be treated the way they were treated. So,
Right. And it's a blessing we're here and we're doing this for our ancestors.
yeah,
Doing
but our memories are still here too.
they are. Some pain will never go away. You
Thank you.
know, it's a lot of loss in our like personal lives, like someone that we love very much. If they pass, that's something we'll never forget. So yes, generational, curses and wealth have been shared in history by all, right? So some of those curses affect and were more affected full than others. So
But it was a lot of fun transporting those computers from Duke Street
mhm.
down 395 to the PTO office on Henry Street, one way this way and one way that way. It was it was quite an experience
Yeah.
dealing in
DC.
Alexandria. A lot of history over there.
Oh, yes, in Alexandria. And so I have some pictures here. I have so many more that would have loved to share, but here are some of my memories. So that first one on the sea, that's me on the Kennedy Center. I shared previously I had performed at the Kennedy Center with I was in choir, so that was pretty fun, but also DC Youth Orchestra, so Millennium Stage was amazing. Uh-huh.
All
Yes.
right.
Yes, I love, yeah, flute and piccolo. Those are my instruments
All
and
right.
my voice. But looking at that, being on, y'all been on the balcony on the Kennedy Center, right? Just seeing the beautiful sea and just that whole landscape is just so gorgeous. So,
Yeah, I was over there last year. I think that's the first time my niece took me to see Senyun.
yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
oh,
Chen Yun,
that,
yes, and
oh,
that balcony was something else, wasn't it?
yeah.
Hmm. That middle poster at the bottom is 007, the International Spy Museum. When I was in 11th grade, I did a future agents in training program at the FBI office. So
Wow.
one of the days that was a week long thing. One of the days we went to the International Spy Museum for free. So that was so amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
What high school?
Oh, I don't know if it was from the FBI, but I went to Wilson and Walls, but this was just an outside program. I just wanted to do stuff during the summer. So I did the Future Agents and Training program, and then I also did a Samsung Galaxy program. So I used a tablet to create an app and do a business. So that was pretty fun. So that summer was amazing.
Alex, I use this phrase. You're well versed.
Oh, well,
Well,
thank
But
you.
that's
and
right.
well traveled.
Yeah.
I,
You're
I,
good at everything.
Growing up, I absorbed as much as I could so I could use it in the real world. So
That's
these are
beautiful.
these are just the fruits of my labor. So
Mhm.
thank you.
Thank
I
God.
try. You gotta when you see a lot of things, you become more empathetic and understanding and
Mm-hmm.
all world omnipotent or omniscient or whatever the word is. So you could
Mm-hmm.
just see all points of view. So
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you had to be real smart to get into school without walls,
Oh, thank you.
which is where you went.
Mm-hmm.
It was an experience. I loved it.
Yes.
So thank you so much. It was a great school. On the right, in the bottom right-hand side, do y'all know who that is? He was a
Is
he's a
that
game show.
is that Clinton? No.
No, he's a game show host.
Oh,
Alex, that's
Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
Trebek.
Yes,
oh,
that's Alex Trebek.
okay.
He was at Dar Constitution Hall, and I was able to get free tickets to go see a show. So I've literally seen Jeopardy live.
You ever
I got,
audition for a show like that?
huh?
Did you ever audition for a show like that? I've been
Oh no, no,
making some money.
Christy. Maybe one day, maybe. But I loved going to see him, and I got to ask him a question. So, he's
Okay.
no longer with us. So I asked him, what makes a good contestant? I was being so smart as a kid.
You were
Uh,
smart.
I could ask him, but he was like, you gotta be funny, humorous, positive, and friendly, and but I was able to snap that picture of him. So,
Wonderful.
Very nice
and then
picture.
thank you. Yes.
that place has negative history also.
Yeah, Dar Constitution Hall. Yeah.
The daughters of the American Revolution. I call them Constipation Hall.
Oh,
So there's certainly here history in
that's
DC.
gone.
Very top photo in the middle that I was interning at the museum and when I was in high school. So before it was no longer here. And we actually that in the middle. Does anyone know who that was? In the middle?
I can't see that well.
Here, FBI,
No,
former director.
no.
not Hoover.
Not Hoover.
No, Comey.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you.
Comey. Yes, Comey. Yes.
James Comey. Yes, he did a talk at the museum. So
Wow.
one of my responsibilities was to help the event. So I was basically like an event assistant or planner. So I did a few of those. Yes, I was in their education department. So it was
Yeah.
fun for that experience. I did DC high schools or DCPS required 100 hours of community service. So I did a lot of it at the museum. I did about half at the museum. So that was like 50 hours or more, but I just even after that was over, I still did it because it was so fun. So
Yeah.
Comey
Comey was very tall. He's very tall.
Yeah, you see even the picture, you see him, man.
His long legs. Yeah, he's been in the crosshairs of the administration,
Yeah, it's been it was fun to meet or see him though and meet him too. So I loved having that experience at the museum. So I hope you all remember your DC travels when you were younger, even though you all are very young, when you were, teenager, kid, adult. Some of you may have been here since you were born, came over when, you were an adult. So I hope, these experiences of mine helped you remember your experiences in DC. Moving on, I visited Ocean City. So look at that picture I took. I visited about 3 years ago, and it was a beautiful day. Look at that water. It was so blue. I had not visited a beach in like 10 years or so it was definitely an experience. Who's been to Ocean City?
Yeah.
You've been to Ocean City, Geraldine? Who else?
Yes, I've been to Ocean City.
I've been there.
I've been to Ocean City.
Yes, Bridget Vaughn. Hello. Thanks again. And I do see, well, and again, hello, Lou. I hope you've been enjoying our session today. Thanks so much for joining. Yes, Ocean City, full of East Coast beach town, as we know. It brings a totally different vibe. Relaxation, summer energy. Ocean City screams summer, right? Y'all walk that boardwalk and those ocean views. It's just so relaxing, right? It's just so relaxing. When I went, I felt so relaxed. So let's take a look. I have this short history here. So Ocean City, Maryland was known as a sleepy fishing village due to its isolation as a barrier island. Sleepy fishing village. The land the city was built on as much as the surrounding area was once owned by Englishman Thomas Fenwick. In 1869, businessman Isaac Coffin built the first beachfront cottage to receive paying guests. People arrive by stagecoach and ferry. Have you all been on a stagecoach or ferry before?
No.
No.
Oh my goodness. I
Go
would love to.
in between Norfolk, Virginia and Newport News, Virginia when I was a child.
Oh, okay. I love that. They came to fish off the shore to enjoy the natural beauty of the Atlantic Ocean, pounding against a long strip of sandy beach to collect seashells or just to sit back and watch the rolling surf. Soon after, other simple, boring houses were built, with the activity attracting prominent businessmen from Maryland, Eastern Shore. My friend Wes went to Eastern Shore for college. Baltimore, Philadelphia, and Wilmington. They came not so much to visit as to survey the spit. A decision was made to develop it, and 250 lots were cut into it, and a corporation was formed to help with the development of the land. The corporation stock of 4,000 shares sold for $25 each.
Wow.
The Atlantic Hotel, the first major hotel in town, opened July 4th, 1875. Wow. Atlantic Hotel. Have y'all stayed there? Or I think I remember that hotel actually, passing by it. It offered dancing, billiard rooms, visitors. It was the northernmost attraction in Ocean City. By 1878, tourists could come by railroad from Berlin to the shores of the Sinnepuxent Bay across from the town. In 1881, a line was completed to the shore, bringing rail passengers directly into town. You see how they built that city. It just took railroads and attractions and planning. What do you all think? You're seeing how a city was literally born.
Right.
In 1878, the U.S. Life Saving Service, the Coast Guard, and ancestor of today's Coast Guard, established a station there. They ventured out in stormy seas, rescued shipwreck victims. A second station was built in 91. Now the Life Saving Station Museum, I would love to go there, enshrining Ocean City's history and saluting the brave men who worked here. The boardwalk was built in 1900. So 126 years of the boardwalk.
Wow.
The Ocean City Inlet was formed during a major hurricane in 1933, which destroyed the train tracks across the Sinnepuxent Bay. The inlet separated what is now Ocean City from Assateague Island. Isn't that where all the camels are, or
The horses.
The horses.
the horses?
Wild
Yeah,
horses.
the horses, right? Remember we learned about that?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, yes. I love when I remember what we learned.
Uh-huh.
The Army Corps of Engineers took advantage of nature's invention, made an inlet in the south end of the Ocean City, and this inlet eventually helped establish Ocean City as a mid-Atlantic sports fishing destination. Rapid expansion of Ocean City took post-war. The completion of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, Ocean City became easily available in the Baltimore, Washington area. We all know about that Chesapeake Bay Bridge, right?
Uh-huh. Do I?
Yeah. 1964, the tunnel was built. So a whole new pathway to the south was opened. It became one of the largest vacation areas of the East Coast. By the 70s, big business flourished and gave birth to more than 10,000 condos. Today, there's hundreds of thousands of vacationers a year. There's 10 miles of beautiful beach. There's food, entertainment, gaming, shopping. There's a Roland E. Powell Convention Center, lots of hotels, condos. The town bills itself as the white marlin capital of the world. During the summer, numerous charter and private boats fish for bluefish, tuna, wahoo. One of the largest fishing tournaments in the world, the White Marlin Open, is held annually in early August. Y'all know about that, sports fans? White Marlin Open?
No.
I've seen it on TV, but I didn't know it was near here though.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Fishing tournament.
White Marlin Open. If y'all see that on TV early August, Ocean City, White Marlin capital of the world. Isn't that something?
Wow.
The more you know about places just a simple drive away.
I guess people who love fishing know about it.
Oh, yeah. I would love to get into fishing. I think some of us have, I think Denise has shared about fishing before. So yes. Let's go to Baltimore, Maryland. No pictures. When I went to Baltimore, it was like 2 or 3 times. I literally just enjoyed. It's very historic. Inner Harbor, national anthem history, and there's a lot of cultural identity there. Fort McHenry, that's where the inspiration for the Star Spangled Banner.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all know that?
Yep.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I didn't. So it was so cool to learn. So just a little bit, let's take a look at an introduction to Baltimore, Maryland. Just a little bit of history. Okay.
I always like to start by exploring how a city wound up being where it is today. Baltimore is located at the Patapsco River estuary on the western side of the Chesapeake Bay. The city of Baltimore was established in 1729 primarily as a port for shipping grain.
1729. So almost 300 years of Baltimore history.
And tobacco. It later became a major shipbuilding center during the American Revolution. In the War of 1812, the British were unsuccessful in their attempt to capture Baltimore due to the defense at Fort McHenry, which inspired the U.S. national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner.
Who didn't know that? I didn't know that.
Well, I knew that because I grew up in Baltimore.
Oh, okay. Fort McHenry against the British, the Baltimore had that defense, didn't they?
Yes. The
So
Baltimore Orioles, that's the bird, the city bird, and that's why the baseball team is the Orioles.
Oh, oh my gosh.
And
So full of knowledge.
So Allan Poe, you know.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. The Raven.
The Raven.
The Ravens.
That's why the football team is the Raven.
That's right.
I love that. Yes.
I'll talk more about Fort McHenry later in the video. About 15 years after the War of 1812, the nation's first railroad was created with Baltimore as its eastern terminus.
Yeah.
This increased Baltimore's status as a
Remember
major
for our Railroads Month, we learned about the Baltimore
transportation hub, which contributed to Baltimore becoming the second busiest port of entry for immigrants to the United States. Today, Baltimore has a city proper population of around 565,000. I tend to think that metro population is a better indicator of a city's actual size, and Baltimore has a metro population of just over 2.8 million, making it the 20th largest metro in the country, falling between Denver and Orlando. Some of the most recognized
20th. That's a lot of people.
Recognizable employers headquartered in the Baltimore Metro include Under Armour, T. Rowe Price, Johns Hopkins Hospital System, as well as the national headquarters for the Social Security Administration.
Isn't that in Baltimore? These are the headquarters for all of these.
The Baltimore Metro is home to 12 colleges and universities, the most notable being Johns Hopkins University. Call me shallow, but when it comes to cities, I think appearances matter. Thanks to its inner harbor, Baltimore is a fine-looking city, but
Look at that. Y'all, when you go to Baltimore, you all see the skyline when you're up there in altitude.
Yeah, I've been to that tall, skinny building.
Oh wow.
On the left.
Isn't that something? Yes. Just wow, time flies when you're having fun. So yeah, Ocean City, beach and tourism. Baltimore had a lot of maritime history and urban culture. So even within one state or one place, you can have different vibes. Isn't that how DC is? I mean, all parts of the city they have different vibes to them. Just like Maryland, just like Virginia, just like New York, what we talk about, just like Pennsylvania. All cities and places can be different. So don't feel trapped within where you're at. With even just 10 minutes away, it could be a whole different vibe or something new you could discover. I discover new things every day, even places on my block, in other quadrants, on the corners of DC. So there's always more to learn, right? So I attended Penn State Harrisburg, which is in Middletown technically, but it's near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. That is the capital of Pennsylvania. Y'all knew that, right? Harrisburg?
Yes.
Yeah, it's so cool.
A lot of people think it's Philadelphia, but it's actually Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Yes.
Yeah.
There's independence I learned a lot about independence and academic growth I loved going to school. New places, new things, new ideas. I saw a lot of the world. Changing seasons and northeast weather. It was definitely cold.
I worked at Penn State in State College,
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
State College.
It was very, very cold up there.
It was super cold up there.
Yeah.
So yes, I went there. It was 2017. That's when I graduated high school. And in the fall, I did my first semester there. So that was so amazing. So yes, when you go to a new place, I feel like just if it's your first time living away from your village, from your people, when you go to a new place, you experience new friendships and experiences. You learn new things through formal education, but also just living and seeing new things and people. So yes, let's take a look, just a little video here on the introduction to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
What?
Pennsylvania is home to a couple of the best cities in the country, but the capital city of the Commonwealth is the often overlooked mid-sized city of Harrisburg. I visit Harrisburg often as part of my job, and I think it's an interesting city with a few surprises. In this series, I briefly cover a city's history, population.
I remember going on some of these bridges.
Skyline, as well as a few things that make it unique. Now let's meet Harrisburg. I always like to start by exploring how a city wound up being where it is today. The Englishman John Harris Sr. established a trading post in 1718 near the Susquehanna River to trade with the local Susquehanna tribe. The trading post was located near the widest part of the Susquehanna, where the river is nearly a mile wide. Harris decided to also operate a ferry across the river, which gave the settlement the name of Harris's Ferry. It wasn't until 1785 that John Harris Sr.'s son laid out plans for a town and named it Harrisburg. And then in 1812, Harrisburg became the capital of Pennsylvania due to its
1812, but we don't know what happened in 1812, right?
central location within the state and its convenient access to the Susquehanna River. Today, Harrisburg has a population of just over 50,000 people, which makes it sound a lot smaller than it really is. That would make it the 10th largest city in Pennsylvania, but when accounting for metro population, Harrisburg is much larger and anchors the 4th largest metro area in the state with a population of just under 600,000 people. As someone who works in cities throughout Pennsylvania, I can tell you that the metro ranking strikes me as the much more accurate representation of Harrisburg's size, given the city of El Paso, Texas. The tallest building in the city is the 333 Market Street, which, of all of the city's tallest buildings I've talked about on this channel to this point, this one has to be the ugliest. On the other hand, the best-looking building in Harrisburg is the state capitol. In fact, Teddy Roosevelt...
the state capitol of Harrisburg before?
No, no, I haven't seen it.
I went once with some friends, and we just literally walked up the steps and was next to the fountain. And it was pretty cool.
Said that it was the handsomest building he ever saw. It's also been referred to as a palace of art. The centerpiece of the building is the huge dome inspired after St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, which gives the capital a very powerful look. Also in downtown Harrisburg is the Broad Street Market, which is the oldest continuously operating market in the whole country. Vendors.
I remember going and seeing all the shops, and it was so cool.
At the market fed thousands of Union soldiers during the Civil War. And the highest point in the city is actually the National Civil War Museum, which sits on a hill just east of downtown. The museum was designed to tell the story of the Civil War from both sides without bias for either cause. Harrisburg is home to a dozen or so bridges, several of which are about a mile in length as they span the Susquehanna. The Rockville Bridge is one of those, and it's the longest stone masonry bridge in the whole world. Connected to the city by these bridges is City Island, which is where the stadium of Harrisburg's minor league baseball team, the Harrisburg Senators, plays.
Isn't that so cool? Mini Island. Just like we have them here, DC, right? What's that kind of mini island down in Southwest? Haynes Point. I love Haynes Point.
Unfortunately, City Island isn't the city's most famous island. That title belongs to 3 Mile Island, which is where the country's worst
3 Mile Island. Y'all know about that, right? 3 Mile Island.
Commercial nuclear accident occurred. There
Yeah, the nuclear accident happened there.
There was a partial meltdown of one of the reactors, which led to radiation being released and people needing to evacuate the area. The event contributed to the decline of building new nuclear reactors everywhere. And I'll wrap this video up on a sweeter note by
who's been to Hershey Park?
Uh-huh.
I love Hershey Park.
pointing out that Hershey, Pennsylvania is located just outside of
I
Harrisburg.
literally drove to it when I was staying. Literally, it was like 10, 20 minutes a drive. It was so fun.
Hershey is referred to as the sweetest place on earth because it's where Milton Hershey built the world famous chocolate company in 1905. Today, the town has several attractions, including Hershey's Chocolate World and Hershey Park, which, in my opinion, is one of the best amusement parks in the country. Well, that
so fun. It was. I loved it. It was so different from DC. This was the first time I left the DMV area, and I went to Harrisburg or Middletown, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania was so rural. I liked it. It's so quiet. Rent is so cheap. My rent for my room, I did off-campus housing. I just rented a room. It was $500
Wow.
for a room. I had 2 roommates. It was like 500. Oh my goodness, it was amazing. Then I moved into a 2-bedroom with a friend. So we had our own spot, and my rent was $550 when I moved. It was such a blessing.
Yeah.
So yes, that was my times and adjusting to the weather. I loved it. Last but not least, New York City. I mostly visited Manhattan. Anyone been to Manhattan? Times Square, Central Park,
Oh, yes.
Statue of Liberty. I mean, who you will never forget. There's a skyline. Of course, New York City is known for the skyline, diversity, global influence. There's
My mother,
there's a picture of me.
huh?
I was like 19.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh my gosh, looking at myself, have mercy. I was so happy to be there. I was literally in Manhattan visiting one of the shops, and they had that big old bear, so it was fun.
My mother grew up in New York City from the time she was 12 till 1945. And she would take us to New York every summer and stay with her sister. Her sister had 7 kids. It was 6 in the home, and it was 3 of us.
Wow.
So just imagine what it was like in that house.
Yeah.
But I went to the World Trade Center. It was going on then.
I love that.
And she lived in Bayside, New York, in the Long Island. And I've been to Manhattan, Harlem, all over. The Bronx.
Oh, yeah, the Bronx.
My mother grew up in the Bronx.
I love it. Yeah.
And,
Oh, I know
and
that's why, Miss
Harlem.
Brenda. That's why you're so strong today.
Hmm?
That's why
And
you're
I
so
lived
strong
in New
today.
Jersey because
Uh-huh.
I couldn't afford New York, but I
That's
was
okay.
close to it.
Yes, that's what many people do. They live in Jersey, they go to work in New York.
I just went to visit. I
Mm.
worked in Jersey too. Ooh. But it was a good experience.
Oh man, Miss Brenda, you share so many travels with us. You've seen a lot too. You've seen more than me.
I've been to 29 states of the United States.
Oh,
Wow.
snaps
I
for that.
love to travel.
Oh, I'm jealous of your mind that you have because you've seen so much. So you just have an unlimited movie in your head. So yes, that's as our final video. Thank you for sharing, Miss Brenda.
Thank you.
We have how did the boroughs in New York get their name? So where did
Wow,
Bronx come from?
1624.
Yeah, where did Brooklyn come from? Where did Manhattan? Where did those names come from? Let's take a look.
In 1624, the Dutch West India Company sent around 30 families to live and work on an island in the northeast of a country that would go on to become the United States of America. They called this settlement New Amsterdam in ode to the city in their homeland. The land had previously been called New Angoulême, named by Italian explorer Giovanni da Verrazzano in honour of the French King Francis I, who had previously been court of the commune in Angoulême. New Amsterdam eventually moved when the governor purchased the larger Manhattan Island from the natives. The settlement kept the name New Amsterdam and grew and grew. In 1664, however, the British seized New Amsterdam and changed its name, naming it in honour of the Duke of York, and from here are the origins to Earth's most iconic city, New York City.
Duke of York, that's why it's called New York.
I love that.
New York's Dutch origins can still be seen in places,
Dutch.
however.
New York has Dutch origins.
With orange and tulips scattered across the city's flags.
Oh, like the Bronx, NYC, Manhattan, Queens.
This mixture of Dutch and English colonization is not only present in the changing of the city's name, but also in the names of the 5 just as iconic boroughs of New York City: the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, and Staten Island. NYC's interwoven multicultural history explains to us this eclectic collection of names. The Bronx actually comes from a family name, a name belonging to Jonas Bronk. Jonas's early life seems to be a bit of a mystery. Swedish born, though this is still up for debate, he eventually emigrated to Denmark, then to the Netherlands, eventually marrying a Dutch woman and sailing to New Amsterdam.
How can someone live that life? They went from here to here to here and then to a whole new country back in that day. That's amazing.
As it was called at the time. This migration was due to the local economy in the Netherlands falling to pieces thanks to, and trust me, I'm not making this up, tulip mania. Jonas and his wife flourished.
Talking about them tulips, right? Flowers and the tulip mania, where tulips were just so valuable.
Here he established a farm on the eastern bank of a river that would eventually be named after him, however with a different spelling of his surname, the Bronx River, which of course led to the naming of the borough of the Bronx. Brooklyn's name comes from New York's Dutch origin. The name Brooklyn comes from the Dutch word for marshland, Broekelane, which is
marshland, Brooklyn. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Wow.
Also the name for a small town in the Netherlands. So I guess New York is the home.
Wow. It's also in the Netherlands, but Brooklyn. It's also, wow. That's cool.
Home of New Brooklyn, kinda. Many places in New York are named after Dutch places and things. Harlem is named after the Dutch city of Haarlem, and Coney Island's name comes from the anglicization of the Dutch Konijn Island, meaning Rabbit Island. The name of the borough of Staten Island,
Rabbit Island.
It's also of Dutch origins. The official name of Dutch Parliament is the States General, which in Dutch is Staten Generaal, meaning Staten Island is named after the Dutch government. Queens, however, is from New York's English heritage. Queens was named in 1683 in honour of Queen Catherine of Braganza, who was the wife of King Charles II of England. Queens was named in correlation with Kings County, which was named after the aforementioned King Charles II. Kings County is the biggest county in New York State and shares its boundaries with modern Brooklyn. However, the most famous of all of New York's boroughs, Manhattan, has a name that doesn't come from Dutch or English. Manhattan's name comes from the language of the Lenape Native Americans and derives from the word Mannahatta. Its first known record.
Manhattan, the most famous city in New York City, is named after Native Americans.
I remember reading that.
Just, wow.
Recordings is in the 1609 logbook of Robert Jewett on his travels into what would now be New York Harbor. It is thought that the name means island of many hills in the Lenape language. The Lenape, also known as the Delaware, are the Native Americans native to the area that covers New York City. Before it was called New York, New Amsterdam, or even New Angoulême, these natives called the land Lenape Hawking. Yet, of course, while New York has an iconic name, as do its boroughs, it also has an iconic nickname, the Big Apple. The nickname Big Apple was originally coined in 1920. Despite New York State being America's top apple grower, its origins actually lie in horse racing. NYC newspaper sports journalist John Fitzgerald heard of Sablehands in New Orleans, calling New York the Big Apple. He liked that name and began using it in his columns. The name ended up being used at jazz clubs in the 1930s. Jazz musicians used it to allow people to know that New York City was the home of jazz. The name, however, did fall out of popularity.
Big Apple with jazz? Who knew
Big
that?
Until the 1970s, when a big tourist campaign revitalized the name, and since then, New York and Big Apples have been synonymous. America is often referred to as a melting pot, a place where many cultures meet and come together. And where else is this easier to see than in the names of the boroughs in its most populated city?
Hope you all enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that wow? Even just one city, like we are a melting pot of cultures and people, places, things. So everything has so much history, is made by all different kinds of people.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I often wondered how the boroughs got their names, you know?
In 5 minutes or less, we did.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That was so fun. Thank you all so much. Again, thinking about the slow versus fast-paced cities, most historic, most exciting, to you. Well, to me, each one of them shaped me a little different. Atlanta felt a little slower and rooted. DC felt structured, a little more fast-paced, and then New York felt really fast-paced and kind of intense. My life lessons from the East Coast. You have to learn how to adapt to new environments. Traveling and living in different places makes you do that. You learn culture changes from state to state, city to city, ward to ward. Travel builds resilience. You get to see a lot of different things.
Yes.
Openness, appreciation for diversity. But at the end of the day, home isn't just a place. It's the experiences and people that you carry. Right?
Right.
It's not just a physical place. It's what you carry, it's what you've experienced, it's who you've learned, who you've met. So,
But you didn't talk nothing about Buffalo, New York, or the outskirts of New York, because New York is very big.
it's so big, yes. I wish we could have talked about those, but we talked about the main New York City and those boroughs, and that would be so amazing. We should do a session on New York City just by itself today.
I like Buffalo. I've been to Buffalo too.
Someone on the calls from Buffalo.
But I like the
big animal.
Yes, Buffalo. I so appreciate you sharing what you shared earlier, Ms. Brenda, about your history. That was so amazing. Thank you.
I've been up to Buffalo too.
So yes, thank you for taking this journey with me, you all. These cities represent chapters of my life, and I was happy to share a little bit more about myself with you all and how I came to be. But it's not where you start, it's how you end.
It's how you end up. Yeah, that was so interesting.
This is not an end. This is just the
you've
beginning.
been.
Oh, thank you, Geraldine. This is not the end, though. This is just the beginning.
Okay, okay.
So, where should I travel? Where do you want me to go? If I were to visit somewhere else, where do you want me to go? Florida?
Florida.
I've never been to Florida.
Oh, well, we'll be taking a look at Florida next week. So yes, but just myself, where do you think I should go?
Go to the city of motherly love.
Say that again, Mr. Thomas.
Philadelphia and Boston.
Oh, okay. I should have talked about Philly. I loved Philly. I've been there a few times because it was just an hour and a half away from Penn State Harrisburg. So I had friends there. I stayed in West Philly, North Philly, traveling, visit, that was so fun. So yes, Philly, and then did you say Boston,
The
Mr. Thomas?
Cradle of Liberty, Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, I stayed with some friends, and their family is from Boston, so it was they sent me some beautiful pictures. So that it's cold, but I would love to visit.
Go in
Thank
the
you.
the summer, the late summer. That's when I went. I love.
Oh,
I just stayed about 2 weeks, but I really love Boston. Whew, it's so
okay.
pretty and the
Thank you.
seafood. Oh,
Anywhere else you want me to visit?
Go to Miami.
Miami, oh, Florida. Y'all really want me to have some fun, don't you?
Yeah, Orlando.
Oh, one day I've never been to Florida. I would have mentioned it. I've never been. I would love to go one
Well,
day.
go to Richmond.
Richmond. Oh yes, Richmond. Beautiful,
yeah.
Yeah, go to
beautiful
Richmond
place. Richmond is so beautiful.
or Norfolk. You could go to Norfolk.
Norfolk. Uh-huh. Remember we talked about those cabins? I
Yeah,
would love to stay in a cabin in Richmond or Norfolk.
yeah.
Go
So
to
thank you.
Vegas and bring some money back.
Oh, Vegas is so far.
And they take care of money.
Lou did a session on Vegas. That was so fun to learn about.
Bring some money back. That
I
moolah.
sure will. Any last thoughts for today? I hope you all enjoy.
I sure did enjoy that. I enjoyed it very much.
Atlanta, Alexandria, DC, Baltimore, it's not how many places and whatever, it's just what you did and your experiences and how you lived and what you learned and I hope this inspired a thing about your history and how important it is. Thank you all so much. We'll have module 3 in about 10 minutes. I'll be starting the session, and it was so fun to go over my travels, and hopefully soon you all could share your travels. But for the next 3 weeks, we'll be hearing from Lou and his travels and pictures, and I cannot wait.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
all.
Alex.
All right.
My
See you later.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you so
wonderful
much.
day. Yes.
Bye, y'all.
See y'all soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.